Today is the review day, so let me take a minute and talk about the test format, right? Um, so one question where I ask you to describe the transformation in order. Two questions where I ask you to construct the sinusoid from the description. Two questions where I ask you to construct the sinusoid from the graph. And then three questions where I ask you to graph sine, cosine, or tangent function. The key points will be provided. The format is going to look the same as the homework quiz did, where I give you like the grid and then the key points, and I ask you to write in the map and do the write in the transform points in the space, right? Couple of things as words of advice here. To describe the transformation in order. It's like the third straight test. Essentially, this exact same question has occurred. I will try to give you like something gross and nasty and sneaky that you'll have to deal with. So like, what is the piece that everybody's been? Well, I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people have been messing up when doing this. Yeah, it's like, we got to make sure that you're factoring in here before you start assigning values for A, C, H, and K. Now, is that factoring there going to be easy? Yeah, no, but is it going to be like horrible? So what is 6 divided by negative 2/5? 15, right? So like, gotta be, right? Because we're just multiplying by the reciprocal. So what's the C in this case? Negative 5/2. What's the H? 15. Okay. So again, let's try everybody to get this one right. Right. Third time we're seeing this essentially this exact same problem. Right. We beat you up. I think almost everybody has gotten at least parts of this thing wrong every time. So let's try to all get it. The construct a sinusoid from a description problem what I'd suggest looking at are definitely like things like 8 and 9, where you're not given things that are like necessarily evenly spaced, where finding the period might get a little tricky if you're not drawing the picture effectively. So again, if you're going over and reviewing things, definitely make sure that you feel good about like things like 8 and 9, where drawing the picture becomes really important to making sure you get the correct period. Because I will give you something that's like maybe not exactly the same as what we've seen on here, but it's like you approach it the same kind of way. You know what I mean? Or maybe you get like, a midpoint and then like the fourth extrema after it or something. You know what I mean? Or just like, ew, what do I do with that? You got to be able to do something like that. Okay. So again, skills that you definitely need, like you got to be able to pull like the A, C, H, and K from an equation, right? Have to be able to do that. That's a core skill for graphing and for describing the transformation. If you can't do that, you can't do the rest of the problem effectively. Constructing the sinusoid from a description, if you rely on like any of those little formulas, like that the amplitude is, like y max minus y min divided by 2, or that k is y max plus y min over 2, definitely would need to have those memorized. If you prefer to just draw the picture, you're probably fine, provided that you remember the definitions of like how you get the amplitude and the midline and stuff out of your picture. Definitely need to remember like which one goes to which, right? Like which A, C, H, or K is related to, midline, amplitude, period, etc. You don't need to memorize the key points. Again, the format for those the graphing questions will be just like the homework quiz, where I give you the list of key points, ask you to set up the transformation map, and then give me the transform points, and then do the graphing. You should remember how to find the midline, amplitude, period, frequency for a function. That kind of goes with some of those graphing problems. But not a ton of extra new memorization in this chapter, right? It's like the same general form that we've seen a couple of times for stuff. It's the same transformation descriptions we've seen a couple of times, right? Should have that stuff basically memorized by now. If you don't, it should be a quick review to kind of get it back, right? So we've seen those things 2 or 3 times now. That's about my input for the test description. You guys have a pretty good idea of like what you should be looking at, what you need to do. Okay. I have a review packet and answer key up in there already. So we should be good with that stuff. That's all I have for you today. Test is next class. Anybody with questions on anything? I'm going to get out of your way and let you get to work on the review or whatever other kind of studying you might need to prioritize before starting that. Okay?
Feel good.
Sure.